I never thought dying would feel this good until I woke up in his body. The man who stole everything from me. The first punch I threw wasn't with my fists, but with his credit card, draining his empire dry while he screamed in my old skin. And God, the rush of watching him beg for mercy in a voice that used to be mine, it was better than any high I'd chased in the gutters of my ruined life. My name is Zoe Harper. Or, at least it was before the world decided to play a cruel cosmic joke on me. Back then, I was just another nobody scraping by in the shadow of Chicago's glass towers, waitressing double shifts at a dive bar off Michigan Avenue, dodging catcalls from suits who tipped in pity coins. 28 years old, with calluses on my hands thicker than the walls I'd built around my heart. Mom used to say I had her fighter's spirit, the kind that kept you swinging even when the bell rang for good. But Dad? He broke that spirit long before the real monsters showed up. I was crushed seeing my father slap my mom and call her useless. Courtroom silence followed, the judge's gavel echoing like a death knell in that stuffy Cook County chamber. It was 2012. I was 18, fresh out of high school with dreams of community college and a nursing degree. We'd scraped together every penny for his defense, armed robbery gone wrong. He claimed self-defense against some thieving spick in a South Side alley. The jury didn't buy it. 25 to life. Mom sobbed into my shoulder as the bailiff dragged him away in cuffs, his eyes locking on mine with that feral promise, "You'll pay for this."
Zoe.
You let them take me. She crumbled after that. Pills at first, prescription stuff from the free clinic, then whatever she could score from the corner boys. I dropped out, took the graveyard shift at Louie's Grill to keep the lights on in our Pilsen walk-up. Rent was $800 a month, utilities another $150, and Mom's medicine ate the rest. By 22, I was forging her signature on eviction notices, pawning Grandma's locket to buy groceries. That's when Elena Vasquez walked into my life, or slithered. More like. Elena was everything I wasn't. Sleek black hair and a bob that screamed old money, Louboutins clicking like judgment heels, and a smile that could sell ice to hellfire preachers. She owned half the real estate in Wicker Park, flipped brownstones into boutique Arabs for hipsters fleeing the burbs. I met her at the bar, nursing a watered-down bud after a 10-hour shift. She ordered a Grey Goose neat, slid a 50 across the scarred oak, and said, "You look like someone who's carrying the world. What's your poison?"
Kid.
We talked till closing. Or rather, she talked, and I listened, mesmerized by the ease of her world. Private jets to Napa, boardrooms where deals got inked over steak tartare at Gibson's. Power's not about money. Zoe, she purred, her manicured nails tracing the rim of her glass. It's about leverage. You got any dirt on someone?
Woody in with each.
By last call, she'd offered me a job, assistant at her firm, Vasquez Properties. Starting Monday, $45,000 a year. I signed on without blinking. It was a dream at first. Air-conditioned office with a view of the Loop, expense account lunches at Girl and the Goat. Elena mentored me like a big sister from a Scorsese flick, teaching me to spot undervalued lots in Logan Square, how to charm city councilmen over craft IPAs at the Violet Hour. She even fronted the cash for Mom's rehab stint upstate. Family first, she'd say, clinking her wine glass against mine at after-work happy hours. But Elena had her shadows. Late nights, I'd overhear her on calls, voice dropping to a hiss. Make it disappear.
Victor.
Or you're next. Victor Hale. That's the name that started it all unraveling. CEO of Hale Dynamics. A defense contractor sucking billions from Pentagon teat, drones, surveillance tech. The kind of gear that kept wars tidy and profitable. Mid-40s. Salt and pepper hair. A jawline like chiseled granite. And eyes that stripped you bare. He swept into Elena's orbit at a fundraiser for the mayor's re-election. All Rolex gleam and whispered promises. Darling, your developments could use my security patents, he'd say, hand lingering on her lower back. She ate it up, introduced me as my secret weapon. I saw the cracks early. Elena started missing meetings, showing up with hickeys blooming like bruises under her collar. Victor's gifts piled up, a leased Audi in the garage, diamond studs that caught the fluorescence like sniper fire. But it was the deals that twisted my gut. Vasquez Properties began snapping up foreclosed warehouses in Englewood, prime spots for Hale's new drone assembly plants. Urban renewal, Elena called it. But the evictions hit like gut punches. Families I'd grown up with, huddled on curbs with trash bags of belongings while bulldozers idled. One night, after too many shots at the Berghoff, Elena confessed over oysters Rockefeller. Victor's got vision.
Zoe.
He's gonna make Chicago the Silicon Valley of surveillance. We just gotta grease the wheels. Her eyes darted to the shadows, voice slurring. There's this inspector, Ramirez. Thinks he can block the permits. Victor says handle it. I laughed it off as drunk talk. Until the headlines 2 weeks later, inspector found dead in apparent suicide, Englewood project greenlit. Ramirez. Carlos Ramirez, who'd coached my Little League team, bought tamales from his wife's truck every Sunday. Hanging from a ceiling fan in his kitchen. No pin to his shirt. Can't take the pressure. The cops called it clean, but I knew. Elena's private line buzzed that morning with Victor's number. She deleted the call log before I could blink. I confronted her in the ladies' room at the office. Steam from the sinks fogging the mirrors. Did you? Words choked in my throat. She fixed her lipstick, slow and deliberate, then turned with that serpent smile. Leverage.
Zoe. You want out? Fine.
But remember who pulled you from the gutter. She paused, eyes narrowing. Or stay, and learn how the game's really played. I stayed. God help me, I stayed. Because Mom was clean now. 6 months sober. Talking about night classes at Harold Washington College. And Victor? He noticed me. Started with compliments on my pitch decks. Sharp as a stiletto. Harper. Then invitations to his box at United Center for Bulls games. Courtside with Dom Perignon flowing. One whiskey-fueled night in his Gold Coast penthouse, overlooking Lake Michigan's black churn. He kissed me.
Rough.
Demanding. Like claiming territory. Elena walked in mid-act. Glass of scotch shattering on the marble floor. The silence was thicker than the betrayal. Victor zipped up. Casual as checking emails. Business. Elena. You know how it is. She laughed. A brittle shard of sound. Then lunged, not at him.
But me.
Nails raking my cheek. Drawing blood that tasted like copper regret. You little whore. I gave you everything. Security hauled her out. But not before she spat the truth. He's mine.
Zoe.
Always was. You're just the patsy. Patsy. That's when the real nightmare began. Turns out, Victor had been laundering Hale Dynamics kickbacks through Elena's flips, ghost LLCs hiding drone bribes to senators. Off-books cash from black site contracts. The feds were closing in. Wiretaps humming like angry bees. Victor needed a fall guy. Someone clean, desperate, with a sob story to sell sympathy.
Me.
They framed me for the leaks. Planted docs on my laptop, emails to a DOJ contact I'd never met, while I slept off a roofied drink at Victor's afterparty.
Elena testified.
Tears streaming. She was jealous. Your Honor. Slept her way up, then sold us out when it soured. Victor played the wounded lion. Voice cracking on CNN. Betrayal cuts deepest from family. The jury, blue-collar folks from Joliet. Eyeing my tattoos and thrift store blazer. Ate it up. Guilty on all counts: fraud, conspiracy, accessory to murder. Ramirez's suicide pinned on me too.
Somehow.
20 years in Dwight Correctional. Mom visited once. Then stopped. Overdosed on fentanyl 6 months in. Victor married Elena in a spread for Chicago Magazine, toasting new beginnings from his yacht on the lake. I rotted, rage festering like an open wound, until the accident. It was a routine transfer, me to a low SEC for good behavior, when the prison bus hydroplaned on I-55 black ice. Metal screamed, glass exploded, and my world flipped end over end. Last thing I saw, Victor's face on a billboard, grinning down like a false god. Hail Dynamics, securing tomorrow. Then nothing. Until I gasped awake in silk sheets, staring at a ceiling painted like a Renaissance fresco. My hands strong, manicured, wrong, flexed before me. I bolted to the mirror, and there he was, Victor Hale, staring back with my eyes
Wide.
terrified, alive with unholy fire. Body swapped. Soul snatched.
And, oh,
The revenge? It tasted like sweet, forbidden absinthe. Waking up as Victor Hale was like drowning in champagne, bubbles of luxury choking the screams of the damned. His penthouse sprawled across the 52nd floor of the Hancock Building, all floor-to-ceiling glass framing the Windy City's electric sprawl. I stumbled to the en-suite, marble cold under bare feet that weren't mine, and retched into a sink worth more than my old apartment. The face in the reflection? Chiseled perfection. Faint stubble shadowing a jaw that had smirked through boardrooms and bedrooms alike. But the eyes, my eyes, hazel flecked with that stubborn Harper glare, betrayed the lie. Panic hit like a freight train. I rifled drawers, monogrammed cufflinks. A Glock 19 tucked in the nightstand like a guilty secret. Elena's perfume lingering on the Egyptian cotton. My phone, his phone, buzzed. Board meeting. 9 a.m. Don't be late. Elena. My stomach twisted. If I was here, where was him? In my body. Rotting in Dwight? Or worse, I dressed in his Armani suit, tailored to AT, hugging a frame honed by personal trainers and protein shakes, and descended in the private elevator. Pulse thundering. The lobby gleamed with crystal chandeliers. Doormen nodding like trained seals. Morning, Mr. Hale, one murmured, holding the door to a black Escalade idling curbside. I slid in, leather creaking, and forced a nod. Drive. The city blurred past, L trains rattling overhead. Hot dog vendors hawking Italian beef under the L tracks. Joggers pounding the lakefront path despite the December chill. Chicago. My brutal, beautiful beast, now viewed from the predator's perch. Hale Dynamics HQ loomed in River North. A fortress of smoked glass and steel. Logo etched like a scar. HD. Interlocking like handcuffs. Elena waited in the executive suite, perched on the conference table's edge in a sheath dress the color of spilled Merlot. She rose as I entered, heels stabbing the Persian rug, and kissed me, him, full on the mouth, tongue darting like a probe. Missed you last night, Vic. Wild dreams. Her eyes searched mine, sharp as switchblades. I pulled back, feigning a cough, heart slamming. Up close, she was venom wrapped in velvet, crow's feet hidden by Botox, but the cruelty etched deeper. The boardroom was a Shark Tank, silver-haired VPs in Hermes ties, tablets glowing with projections. I took the head seat, palms slick on the walnut armrests, and listened as they droned about Q4 margins, Saudi contracts for facial rec drone swarms. My mind raced leverage. Elena had said. Now I had his. But first, survival. I cleared my throat, channeling every courtroom drama I'd binge-watched in solitary. Gentlemen, ladies were pivoting. Ethics audit. Full transparency. No more shadows. Murmurs rippled like oil on water. Elena's laugh tinkled.
Forced. Beak.
Darling, heat stroke from the sauna? We're not going soft on the DoD bid. I met her gaze, letting my Victor's ice blue eyes harden. We're going smart. Feds are sniffing. Play clean, or we all swim with the fishes. The room froze. Then nods rippled. Power. It hummed in my veins like black market coke. Lunch was power sushi at Arami. Elena across the booth. Chopsticks poised like daggers. What's with the Boy Scout routine? You sound off. I shoveled nigiri, buying time. Just thinking about legacy. What we built. She leaned in, breath minty with conspiracy. Legacy? It's blood money. Vic. Delicious, but sticky. Speaking of your little pet project in Dwight, the Harper girl. Parole hearing next month. You want me to pull strings? My fork clattered. There it was, the hook. Victor's pet project. Bribes to guards. Maybe even the swap itself some occult favor he'd called in. Elena watched me, head tilted. Unless you're going soft on her too. I forced a chuckle, low and rumbling in this stolen throat.
Nah.
Let her rot.
But.
Check on her. Discreetly. That afternoon, I hacked a laptop. Password, Elena69. Pathetic. Encrypted drives spilled secrets like guts from a slit belly, wire transfers to offshore shells. Ramirez's suicide note forged in Comic Sans. My framed confession video, drugged eyes glazing as I signed away my soul. And deeper, the betrayal's root. Victor hadn't just used me, he'd groomed me. Emails from years back. Elena forwarding my resume with notes. Malleable. No family ties. Perfect fall. Rage boiled. But I bottled it. Revenge wasn't a sprint. It was a marathon through minefields. Step 1. Consolidate. I fired the crooked CFO over Zoom. Creative accounting's out. Harold. Pack your Rolodex. And poached a whistleblower from Raytheon as replacement. Step 2, Elena. That night, back in the penthouse, I poured her a scotch. Neat. And waited till the Xanax I'd crushed into the ice melted clean. To us, I toasted, clinking glasses. She sipped, eyes fluttering as the drug hit.
Vic.
What are we doing? I leaned close, voice a gravel whisper. Unfinished business. Her head lolled, and I dragged her to the guest room, zip ties from the gun safe biting into wrists that once raked my face. She woke groggy, mascara smudged like war paint. What the fuck? Victor? I sat across, in his wingback chair, nursing bourbon. Not Victor.
Él. Zoe.
Remember me? Her eyes widened, then narrowed to slits. Impossible. The ritual, the shaman in Manila said it was one way. Ritual? The plot thickened like gumbo at Valois. Victor's accident wasn't ice. It was engineered. Some voodoo tech from his Black Ops labs, neural swaps via experimental implants, tested on Guantanamo ghosts. He'd body-jacked me for a clean slate, dumping his sins into my husk. But the bus crash? Feedback loop. Souls rebounding wrong. You bitch, she hissed, straining against bonds. He chose you because you were nothing. A ghost to haunt. I laughed, the sound echoing alien in his baritone. Nothing? I was your ladder. Elena.
And now?
I'm climbing back up, with his skin. I showed her the laptop. Files open, her solo embezzlements. Pillow talk recordings where she plotted his early retirement. Sign it over. The firm. The accounts. Or the feds get a midnight delivery. She spat, a glob landing on my lapel. You'll never pull it off. You're trash in a tux. But fear flickered, real as the city lights beyond the glass. She signed, digital notary timestamped at 2:17 a.m. Vasquez Properties folded into Hale Dynamics as a merger, my first board vote sealing it. Dawn broke gray over the lake, and I watched her sleep off the haze, plotting the next cut. But cracks showed fast. Victor, in my body, frail and forgotten, started talking. A blurry video surfaced on X. Zoe Harper in Dwight scrubs, ranting to a contraband phone. It's Hale. He stole my life, literally, labeled deepfake by mods. But whispers spread. Elena's allies circled. SEC filings flagged for anomalies. And me? Paranoia gnawed. Every reflection a reminder. How long till this skin rejected my soul? I needed allies. Enter Marcus Reed, Victor's estranged brother, ex-Marine. Now PI in Bucktown, nursing grudges over a stolen inheritance. I met him in a dim booth at the Empty Bottle, dive reeking of stale PBR and regret.
Vic?
You look like shit, he grunted, nursing a Jameson. I slid a thumb drive across, evidence of Victor framing their dad for insider trading back in '98, the old man's suicide in Attica. Not Vic anymore. Marcus. Help me bury him. For real this time. He paused, ice clinking. What's in it for me? I met his gaze. Zoe's fire and Victor's steel. Everything he took. Starting with the family trust. Hook set. Marcus became my shadow, tailing Elena's errands, digging into the shaman's Manila ties. Turns out, the swap tech was Hale's crown jewel, Project Echo. Neural remapping for asset relocation. Tested on POWs. Now weaponized for white-collar escapes. Tensions coiled like a spring in Grant Park Elms. Elena confronted me at a gala for the Art Institute, black tie. Champagne flutes bubbling like lies. You're slipping, Vic. Or whoever. Her hand on my arm. Nails digging warning. The board smells blood. And your pet ghost? She's filing appeals. I swirled my flute, bubbles rising like accusations. Let her. Ghosts make the best stories. Then, back off.
Él.
Or join Ramirez. Her slap echoed, pearl necklace snapping like gunfire. Heads turned, gawkers in Vera Wong gowns whispering domestic drama. Security peeled her away, but not before she hissed, "You'll burn."
Zoe.
We all will. The gala blurred into a haze of small talk and schmoozing donors. But inside, the storm brewed. Victor's body ached, migraines from the neural scar tissue, flashes of his memories bleeding in, childhood beatings from their old man. First kill in Fallujah. Empathy tried to creep, but I crushed it. He deserved none. By week's end, I'd liquidated $2 mil in crypto, Victor's slush fund, funneling it to a Cayman shell. Marcus delivered burner phone footage of Elena meeting cartel fixers in Little Village, negotiating disposals, leverage stacked like Jenga, teetering toward collapse. But the real twist? A late-night call from Dwight. "Harper?"
It's me.
Victor. His voice, my old rasp, cracked over the line. "Fight's not over."
Bitch. Click.
The line died. But the war? It ignited. The call from Victor, trapped in my rotting husk, lit the fuse. I paced the penthouse at 3 a.m., Lake Michigan a black void mocking my stolen reflection.
How?
He'd hacked a guard's phone. Maybe. Or Elena's strings pulled one last puppet.
Didn't matter.
He was clawing back, and I was running out of skin to hide in. Marcus confirmed it next on over coffee at Dollop, black. No sugar. Steam rising like interrogations. "Your body's a mess."
Zoe.
Emaciated. Ranting about soul thieves. Wardens talking solitary. But appeals are moving. Fast. Fast meant exposure. If Zoe Harper walked free, spilling Echo's guts to 60 minutes, Victor's empire and my revenge crumbled like Wrigley Field bleachers in a Cubs loss. I needed to end it. Controversial? Hell. This was scorched earth. Step 1. Discredit. I leaked sanitized Echo docs to the Trib's investigative desk, framed as Victor's mad science folly, with Elena as co-conspirator. Headlines screamed by noon. Hail Dynamics body swap scandal? CEO's bizarre patent unearthed. Stock dipped 8%. Board in panic mode. Calling emergency sessions. Elena struck back viciously. That evening, as I schmoozed investors at RPM steak, filet mignon bleeding rare on Wedgwood plates, she cornered me in the coat check. Beretta 9mm cold against my ribs. "Sign it back, Vic. Or I paint the alley red with your brains." Her eyes were feral, pupils blown wide on whatever cocktail of Adderall and spite she mainlined. I raised hands slow, Victor's Rolex glinting under the dim bulb. "You'd kill your meal ticket? For him." She jammed harder. Barrel-kissing linen.
For us.
The life we built on bodies like hers.
Bodies.
Plural. Ramirez. Mom's dealer, overdosed accidentally after Elena's anonymous tip, even Dad's robbery beef. Juiced by Victor's planted evidence to clear a rival's path. The betrayal layered deep, a Russian doll of deceit. I twisted, knee driving into her thigh, gun skittering across terracotta tile. We grappled, nails and elbows flying, till Marcus burst in, taser buzzing like angry hornets. Elena slumped, twitching, as blue suits swarmed from the back door. Cuffed and Mirandized, she lawyered up with Victor's Rolodex sharks. But the leak had primed the pump. Feds raided Hale HQ at dawn. Black SUVs clogging Wabash like a funeral cortege. I played the hero, Whistleblower in the CEO's chair, handing over drives and a presser flanked by PR spinners. Corporate greed ends here, I declared. Cameras flashing like St. Elmo's fire.
Inside.
Terror gnawed. Neural feedback worsening. Victor's PTSD flashbacks hijacking my sleep, bombs in Baghdad. Blood on desert sand. Was I becoming him? The climax brewed in Dwight's bowels. Parole granted, Elena's strings. Ironically, Zoe Harper walked free on a crisp December morn. Media circus waiting at the gates. I watched live on CNN from the jet to D.C. En route to testify before Senate Armed Services. There she was, me,
Gaunt and hollow-eyed.
rail-thin in ill-fitting jeans. Hair a matted tangle. But the fire? Unquenched. Victor Hale murdered my soul, she croaked to mics. Voice raw as barbed wire. And I'll prove it. Public devoured it. Soul swap trending. Podcasters dissecting like serial reboots. Victor's allies, senators with drone contracts, demanded my head, but I had Marcus feeding WikiLeaks strips. Echo trials on Afghan detainees. Swaps gone wrong leaving husks vegetative. By National Harbor hearing, the tide turned. I took the stand in a Zegna suit, oath hand steady on Lincoln's Bible. Gentlemen, Project Echo was an innovation. It was abomination. Gasps rippled as I projected emails. Victor greenlighting volunteer swaps for test pilots. Elena signing off on disposals. Cross-exam? Brutal. Hale's counsel. A silver fox from Kirkland and Ellis. Hammered, Mr. Hale. These delusions, therapy records show dissociative episodes. Are you quite yourself? Laughter tittered. I leaned in. Mic hot. Myself? I've never been more. Flash to Elena's deposition feed. Playing live, her crumbling under sodium pentothal. Admitting the frame. The ritual. Ramirez's push from the L platform. The chamber erupted. Gavels pounding. Aides scrambling. But revenge's high-crested bloody. That night, in my Watergate suite, irony thick as Potomac fog, the door splintered. Zoe burst in, wild-eyed. My old switchblade from Pilsen glinting. Victor's soul twisted her, my features into a gargoyle's snarl. Give it back, she lunged. Blade slicing air. I dodged. Lamp shattering in a spray of porcelain and bourbon. We tumbled. Bodies clashing, her frail against his bulk, fists and curses flying. You stole my life, I roared. Pinning her. Windpipe under thumb. You destroyed mine. The struggle blurred. Her knee to my groin. Fire exploding. My elbow to her jaw. Crack like thunder. Blood welled. Mine from a shallow gash. Hers from split lip. Controversial? Strangling your own face in a DC hotel. Cameras whirring outside from tipped paparazzi. Marcus crashed the party. Syringe plunging, ketamine cocktail. Vet sourced. She slumped, twitching, as sirens wailed closer. Handcuffs bit next morning, but not for long. Elena flipped fully, plea deal for immunity. Testifying Victor orchestrated the swap to evade RICO charges on cartel ties. Senate subcommittee subpoenaed everything. Hale dynamics imploded. Stock cratering to pennies. I walked from the chaos a ghost. Assets frozen. But free. Victor? Back in his shell. Courtesy of a black site reversal procedure Elena spilled under oath. Woke screaming in a Langley cell. Soul reseated, but mind fractured. The revenge?
Pyrrhic.
I reclaimed my body, scarred, weak, but mine in a sterile Johns Hopkins or neural probes humming like exorcism bells. Waking to familiar aches. Tattoos faded but real. I stared at the ceiling. Monitors beeping requiem. Elena, 15 in Supermax, writing a tell-all from her cot. Victor, life without, babbling about the thief in my skin to indifferent shrinks. But the decisions? They haunted. I'd greenlit evictions in Victor's name, families like mine, scattered to Cicero motels. Signed off on a defensive drone sale to a dictator's regime. Collateral tallied in innocence. Power corrupted quick. A virus in the veins. Was I avenger or monster? Chicago welcomed me back gray-skied and indifferent. Mom's grave snow-dusted in Rose Hill. I rented a studio in Ukrainian village. Took a gig bartending at Maria's packaged goods. Full circle. But wiser. Yet the twist loomed. Shadow in the mirror. Months blurred into a fragile normalcy. The kind stitched from thrift store threads and therapy copays. Chicago thawed slow that spring. Tulips pushing through Lincoln Park mulch. L trains rumbling rebirth. I slung drinks at Maria's. Dodging old ghosts in the jukebox glow. Springsteen crooning Born to Run. Patrons nursing old styles like old wounds. Tips were decent. Enough for a second-hand Prius and night classes at UIC Criminal Justice. Ironic as hell. Marcus visited Sundays. Ribs from Lem's barbecue steaming between us. Trading war stories like baseball cards. You did good. Zoe, he'd grunt.
Sauce on his chin.
Brought the bastard low. Good? The word chafed. Nightmares lingered. Victor's flashbacks merging with mine, his Fallujah ghosts gunning down Ramirez in my dreams. Elena's laugh echoing Mom's last rasp.
Ide bakashuin.
Fingers clawing sheets. Convinced the swap scar itched under my scalp. FBI shrinks called it echo residue. Neural echoes. Phantom limbs of the soul. Pills helped. Zoloft mornings. Ambient nights. But peace? Elusive as a White Sox pennant. Elena reached out first, collect from Logan. Voice tinny over the line. Read my book yet? Shadows in Silk, bestseller.
Bitch.
I hung up, but curiosity gnawed. Snagged a dog-eared copy from Unabridged. Pages yellowed like old lies. It painted her the victim, ambitious Latina clawing glass ceilings. Seduced by Victor's snake oil. Me as the grateful stray, turned Judas. Buried in Chapter 12. Casual as confetti. Zoe's dad? Not the robber we thought. Victor's setup. Sure, but she knew. Signed the plant job, for a cut. Thinking it'd buy her mom's fix.
Lies.
Or was it? Memory flickered. Dad's arrest night. His whisper in the holding cell. Tell no one.
Kid.
It's bigger than me. I'd buried it. Shame's weight too heavy for 18 shoulders. But Elena's footnotes cited affidavits, sworn statements from corner boys. Payoffs traced to my forged checks. Nausea rose. Bitter as bad diner hash. Confrontation came unbidden. Victor's trial, federal circus in Dirksen Courthouse. Summer swelter turning the gallery to a sauna. I testified as key witness, recounting the frame in clipped tones. Avoiding his eyes. He looked wrecked. My old body shrunken. Orange jumpsuit hanging like defeat. Beard a scraggly mask. But when the judge recessed, he lunged at the rail. Marshals pinning him. You were complicit. Harper took the blood money. The gallery gasped. Camera's word. Post-trial. In a sterile conference room reeking of bleach and bureaucracy.
His counsel cornered me.
Off record.
Yes.
Harper. New evidence, your signature on the Ramirez payoff envelope. Postmarked from your shift at Louis. Forgery or truth? I drove to Pilsen that night. Streets alive with Quinceanera bass thumping from lowriders. Ticarius spilling cumin scent into dusk. Knocked on Mrs. Alvarez's door, Ramirez's widow, now running a bodega on 18th. She remembered me, eyes softening over café con leche. Zoe. Mija. The slap, your papa.
Dios mío.
We talked till moths batted the porch light. Yes. The envelope. Delivered by a girl matching my description, braid. Bar apron. I burned it after, she whispered. But the cops. They asked. Elena's plant. Or mine in blackout. Memory blacked. That shift. Post-Elena confession. Shots blurring the bar lights. Had I sleepwalked revenge's first up? The twist hit like a lakeshore gale. Marcus dug deeper. Private ledgers from Victor's safe. Digitized post-raid. There, my name. Not as Patsy, but partner. A 2015 wire, $50K to ZH. Trust. Memo. Silence fund. Ramirez matter. I'd cashed it unknowingly?
No.
Elena's emails. Forwarded in the book. Zoe's in. Greedy little thing jumped at the hush money. Jumped? Or lured? Rage reignited. But twisted inward. The betrayal? Mutual. I'd ignored red flags for the climb, Ramirez's warnings at block parties. Dad's coded pleas. Took Victor's mentorship like gospel. Blind to the altar it built. The swap? Not just escape. Punishment. Victor's shaman notes. Leaked in trial docs. Target selected for guilt resonance. Soul debt accelerates merge. I'd borne crimes not just for them, but with them. Mom's death? My silence enabled the dealer's supply. Elena's tip a domino from my complicity. Climax revisited. That hotel brawl. My thumbs on my own throat. Controversial? I'd nearly killed myself to kill him, debating in the mirror post-reversal. Blade hovering. Monster or mirror?
Now.
The truth reversed, no clear villain. Just a chain of fools grasping snakes. Victor rotted. Catatonic from the botched receipt. Babbling Zoe's name like prayer. Elena's book deal soured. Libel suits from every ghost she'd slandered.
Me?
I dropped classes. Took to the lakefront paths at dawn. Pounding pavement till lungs burned absolution. Ending? Debatable as a Bears Super Bowl shot. Happy. Empire toppled. Secrets aired. Me free to rebuild. Therapy group at Howard Brown. Sponsoring at NA meetings. A tentative date with a bar regular. Tattoo artist with kind eyes and Zeppelin ink. Tragic. Scars eternal. Trust ash. Every reflection, a potential thief. I stood at Navy Pier's edge one October eve. Autumn wind whipping Lake Michigan to froth. Skyline twinkling like false promises. Toss the pills into the waves. Not all. Just enough. Leverage, Elena once said. Now mine, choice. The hook closes. I never thought reclaiming my soul would feel this empty, until I realized it was never lost. Just bartered cheap. The punch I threw last? And my own ghost. Shattering the mirror for good. And the rush? Quiet. Finally. Like rain on the L. Washing Chicago clean. But in the quiet, a whisper. What if the swap was an accident? What if I called it? Deep down. Trading skins for the kill? The debate rages hero. Villain. Or just human. Flawed as the city that birthed us.